Right now, you're listening to the Championship Absolute Football Banter podcast, where we discuss upcoming fixtures, weekly match results, the table, all the clubs, and everything else. Right now, please welcome your hosts, Danny May, Tyler Tarft, Karl May, Dan McGee, Ash White, Ashley Slight, and other special guests. Sit back and enjoy. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Championship Absolute Football Banter. You're joined by your host, Dan McGee, Tyler Tarft, Derby fan, and Karl May, Borough fan. How you guys doing? Okay.
All right, boys.
You're right, Dan. You're right, Karl. Good to be back.
Right, yeah, guys, obviously good to be back. Last game of the season. What I'm going to quickly do is I'm going to go through the results, and then we're going to quickly discuss that final day of relegation. And then go on to the playoffs. So first up, we had Blackburn at home to Birmingham, which was 5-2. 7-goal thriller, really. We had Bristol at home to Brentford. Great result. Watford at home to Swansea. 2-0, that ended. Cardiff and Rotherham, 1-1. Coventry at home to Millwall, beating them 6-1. Nottingham Forest at home to Preston. Ended up in a away win for Preston. Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, Derby at home, 3-3. Reading, Huddersfield, Reading at home being a 2-2 draw. Stoke away to Bournemouth, beating them 2-0. QPR at home to Luton, QPR winning 3-1. Wickham away to Middlesbrough at the Riverside, beating them 3-0. And Barnsley and Norwich City, Barnsley being at home, a 2-2 draw. Now, these results, obviously, some great results in there, but the ones that matter, the ones that we're going to discuss today, are the three being Cardiff City with Rotherham, Derby County with Sheffield Wednesday, and Middlesbrough and Wickham. Now, Tyler, I'm just going to go over to you, mate. How were you feeling before that match? How did you feel before, and how did you feel after?
It was nerve-wracking the whole week, building up to the game. It really was nerve-wracking. After the game, relief, just relief that we stayed up. And I think that's how emotions were, nerve-wracking all the way up to it. When it was done, it was massive relief, massive weight off the shoulders, to be totally honest.
I mean, I bet you must have felt some sort of relief seeing Cardiff, Cardiff get that late goal. Like, that must have been a miracle to you, really.
Yeah, look, I think this league every year proves why it's one of the best leagues probably in the world. It's so competitive. You can't predict what anything's going to happen. And like I say, it's one of the best leagues out there. It's so hard to predict. And it's that last day for it, there's always something, whether it be top of the league, whether it be bottom league, there's always drama. Obviously, for me personally, when we went 1-0 down and I seen Rotherham were 1-0 up, that's when nerves really took control. Obviously, Wickham as well, fair play to Wickham, they put in a fight. They had to win like 13-0 to stay up, but even at that, they still put fight in. And then, obviously, last day dramas you see between the teams. We were 3-2 down while there was a goal going in at Rotherham where Cardiff had scored. And that was a relief, them getting the goal, but we hadn't done our job. So at the time, we was going down. And I think it was about 15 seconds later, we got a penalty and made it 3-3. So for Cardiff to get that goal and then us to get one was just an absolutely crazy day in terms of relegation fight.
Now, with the other game, that being Middlesbrough at home to Wickham, Karl, what were you expecting? Did you expect that result? I don't think anybody did.
No, well, I don't think we expected to get beat 3-0, not by Wickham, but fair play to them. They came out. They done the job. They deserved it thoroughly. We weren't at the races. I think we were already on holiday and flipping. They deserved it. I think, to be honest, coming third bottom, I think they deserved that as well. Really, they've done absolutely amazing. At one stage, I thought they'd be lucky if they got 5 or 6 points, but yeah.
And I think going into that final game as well, Wickham had something to play for, whereas Borough, they weren't really bothered. They're more looking at next season, whereas Wickham knew that they needed to get a win and just sort of hope other results went their way. 13-0 was never going to happen. Well, in this league, you never know. In this year, you never know. But Wickham had to do what they had to do, and they did it in style. Fair play to them for putting up some fight.
I mean, that final game, though, I mean, we're just going to I'm going to quickly disregard the Cardiff, Rotherham and the Borough game. I want to talk a little bit more about the Derby and Sheffield Wednesday, a 6-goal thriller. Let me ask your personal opinion on this, Tyler. After this season, do you think you have enough within the squad to stay up next season? How do you?
Yeah, look, Rooney took over and we was bottom of the league, and he's not an experienced manager, so it was always going to be a tough battle for him. And I think what he's probably learned in this season, is would have been incredible for his first season as a manager. Not for the good reasons, but for more bad reasons. He's took a lot of learning from this, and now this will be his first proper transfer window where he can clear out, get some out, get some in. And I think going into next season, the preparation for next season has to start now. Off the pitch, on the pitch, everything, it has to begin now. Contract negotiations and everything like that has to start now. And I think if Rooney can, get the business he needs to get done and get the financial support maybe to get some players in, I think next season we could have a good chance of even, pushing for the playoffs. I'm not saying it will happen. I don't want to be deluded. But, if he's split financially in that, there's no reason we can't do something next year.
Now, we already know the 3 teams that have gone down. That's Wickham, Rotherham and Sheffield Wednesday. I think out of those 3 boys, we'll start with Tyler. Out of those 3, who would you have wanted to see stay up?
To be completely honest, I think Wickham. Rotherham, they didn't take the games in hand, take the chances. At one point, they had about 4 or 5 games in hand on us 4 around within that bottom 4, and they never took the chances in them games. So I think Rotherham, I don't think they deserved it. Sheffield Wednesday, they've gone through about 3 managers within a season, and if you've not got some stability and stuff like that, they don't deserve it. Whereas Wickham, they came up and everyone would have thought that they'd have been lucky to get 5 or 6 points because the squad and stuff that they've got, but they really did show some fight. And in these last couple of weeks, they've been really good. They just left it a bit too late to keep themselves up.
Karl, out of those 3, who would you have wanted to see stay up?
Wickham. Just because the way
for Wickham, what is it?
I think the underdogs are now, and their budget, their resources, everything is far less than anybody else in the league. They've never been at this level before, and I don't think anybody expected them to last till the last day to get relegated, and then not even coming bottom, having two decent teams really finish below them, and a big club like Sheffield, even with the 6 points deducted, it's still a massive achievement for them. I think
definitely.
Karl, now,
definitely.
Obviously, we know the teams that have gone down, and we know the top 6. But I want to quickly go over Borough's position, finishing 10th, merely only 13 points off the playoffs. How did you find this season? Was it a promising season for you? How do you think it went, and how do you think you pose for next season?
Well, I always said I wanted a top 10 finish. I thought we would get that all the way till the last week, to be honest, and then it looked a little bit iffy. But I think overall we deserved the top 10, but we probably could have done a little bit better if few bits of luck and right decisions and few less injuries here and there, we probably could have got a little bit closer to that playoffs. But it is what it is. It was a far better season than last season.
I mean, 100%. I mean, I don't think anybody expected the table to finish as it did. I mean, we're gonna go over the playoffs shortly, but we just want to go back to that final game of the season. I mean, it's really the race for who wants to stay up and who doesn't, who wants it more. And it really looked like Derby wanted it more, and they got their reward from it. I mean, Tyler, like we've said this already, but it's some achievement, really, especially from where you were a few, maybe 10 games ago. You didn't expect this.
No, and I think the last game of the season probably could be put down as probably the best we've played this season.
Mhm.
We haven't really shown enough passion and enough pride, even in the last couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden, this performance comes out the bag. And one of our problems has been goals this season. We haven't got enough goals, and then all of a sudden, everyone's scoring, Waggy scoring, Patrick Roberts scored, and that's his first goal for Derby. And even at the Borough, Borough fans always said that he's always lacked that goal. And he bagged a screamer on that last game. And there was other players that could have scored. There were Kazim Richards, he could have scored on the final day. And like I say, goals has been not enough for us this season. But all of a sudden, on this last game of the season, we were showing passion, we were showing pride. Everyone's getting the goals in. Like I say, we got the job done. It was just a case of Sheffield Wednesday wanted it just as badly as we did, obviously, to stay up.
I mean, a 6-goal thriller for the neutral side. It was a great game to watch. Now, obviously, we know with what happened with the previous games of what's gone on. We know the bottom three. We know where everybody's finished. I think it'd only be right to start talking about the playoffs with Brentford away to Bournemouth on Monday at a 6:00 kickoff. And then Swansea away to Barnsley at 8:15 on Monday. If you want to take this away, Tyler.
Yeah, so I'll take it from here then. So, obviously, playoffs have been settled. They were settled for about a week before, I think, as before the season finished. And I think all the teams within the playoffs position do deserve to be in there. Barnsley, of course, the underdogs in this. But looking ahead at the playoffs, Dan, how are you feeling?
Well, I've been saying this. I feel nervous. I feel excited. I feel excited simply for the fact I keep saying every season, this season's our season, but it's Brentford, isn't it?
Yeah, and damn rightly so. It's what the playoffs is all about: nerves, excitement, all in one. Karl, looking at the playoffs, I think the 4 teams in there deserve to be in there, don't you think?
Yeah, well, definitely. The Brentford probably on the day of the best side in the league and the best to watch it, certainly. Bournemouth had an incredible form till the last few games, didn't they? And then they sort of dropped a little bit when they were confirmed as in the playoffs. Barnsley have just overachieved all season, haven't they? Well, since the new manager's come in, and I think I wouldn't fancy playing them. Swansea are hit and miss, aren't they? You don't know what you're going to get. They can be great on some days, great to watch, play some nice football and that. But I think the form, Brentford are the form team, so they probably should be excited about the playoffs this year. But I think Barnsley might just do it.
Yeah, definitely. And Dan, you've already, I believe, done the league double over Bournemouth, have you not?
Yes, we have, yeah.
Does that give you a bit of confidence going into because of course it's Bournemouth who you play in the 2-leg game. Does that give you a bit of confidence or not?
It would to normal fans. I'm not a normal fan though. I look at it this way: we've beaten them twice. By sod's law, they're going to beat us on the 3rd time. It happened when we played Fulham in the playoff final last season. We beat them twice in the league, and they beat us when it mattered.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. the playoffs is a lottery. Even though you finish sixth, you could end up going up, which in some ways is quite annoying. Sixth place going up over third place sometimes. But
don't get me wrong though. I mean, our form, we've not lost in 12 games, and I think since Bournemouth played us 3 games ago, 2 games ago, they've not won a match. They lost to Wickham and then they lost to Stoke. Like, really, the form, it just takes one game to change a form. We're on great form. They're not on the best of form. I think it's going to be a great game to watch.
Yeah, go on, Carl.
Sorry. I remember when we got to the playoff final v Norwich, we'd beat Norwich twice that season. We were the favourites, and within 12 minutes, I think, of the final, we were beat, put them 2-0 down, and they just saw the game out. So, like you say, sometimes beating them twice in the season, the one that really matters kicks you in the balls.
Yeah, definitely. And I've just been looking at the playoffs and mainly focusing on Brentford's, Dan, because it's better for you to talk about. But I've just been looking, and your second leg is actually at home. So whatever result does happen at Bournemouth on Monday, does it make you feel a bit better knowing that the second leg is at home? It's at home, and it's better to get the job done on home territory, really.
Of course. No, of course. I mean, last season when we played Swan. We're sorry about this, boys. Ladies and gentlemen.
I can't cope, honestly.
No. No, of course. I mean, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're very immature. No, I mean, last season when we played Swansea, we were away to them. I was speaking about this yesterday. And do you know what? This is going to sound bad for me to say. When we play away to Bournemouth, I hope it's a draw or I hope it's a narrow defeat. Simply for the fact that, especially last season, we're a team that likes the chase. When we're a team that likes the chase, we're, like Karl says, we're the best in the league. But when it comes to when it matters, we're like a Tottenham. We really do not.
You bottle it when it matters, sort of thing.
Of course, this is why I'm quite glad that we're away to Bournemouth. I'd quite happily take a 1-0 defeat or a 1-1 draw, then go to when fans are back in stadiums, when we play Bournemouth at home, and really get that result for when it matters so the fans can really feel it,
Yeah. So looking at the first lot playoffs, then they begin Monday, the 17th of May. Bournemouth at home to Brentford, Barnsley at home to Swansea. Carl, what's your score predictions for the Bournemouth Brentford game?
I think that might be 1-1 that game.
Yeah.
I think both teams will be a bit cautious, even though they'll both be up for it. Bournemouth might try to go out a little bit more and try to get an advantage at home, but I see that as a 1-1, and then I think Brentford will do them away. Well,
and what do you think the score predictions will be for the first leg of the Barnsley-Swansea game?
Barnsley at home, are they first?
Yeah, in the first leg.
Barnsley, I think, will beat them 1-0.
Yeah. Dan McGee, for the first leg of the Brentford Bournemouth, how do you see it going? What score prediction?
Honestly, a 1-1 draw. Every time we played Bournemouth, it's always been a narrow win for us. It's always been such an equal game. I see it being a 1-1 draw, to be honest, for that.
Yeah, and the Barnsley-Swansea game, first leg.
Do you know what? Honestly, those four playoff positions, the teams are in there for a reason, and Swansea are third for a reason. Okay, I know Barnsley's, they say they're favourite and everything. Fair enough. but this is their first time in the playoffs in the Championship. They should just be happy with where they've come. And I think, honest to God, I think Swansea against Barnsley, I think Swansea will do them. I don't know what score. I think it'll be a narrow win. It could be a 1-2-0 win. But I do genuinely think Swansea will win that.
Yeah, of course. And for the first
What a bastard. Yeah, of course. This is going to take fucking ages to edit. Right, come on.
Yeah. So for the first leg of...
Can we just give you some context behind what this joke is in case anybody's sort of really confused on why we're laughing all the time? I'm sure you've all seen the meme when Steven Gerrard, he comes out and he's just acting like a scouse, or Wayne Rooney asking a question. It goes, of course, it's not
Jamie Carragher.
We find it hilarious. We really do. Just a bit of context.
Well, anyway, moving on. My score prediction for Bournemouth-Brentford is going to be a 1-0 Bournemouth win in the first leg. And I'm going to say a 2-2 draw in the Barnsley-Swansea game. Karl, for the second leg, what's your score predictions for both games?
I think Brentford will beat them at home. I think it'll be 2-0. And Swansea-Barnsley, I think that'll be 2-2.
So are you saying a Brentford-Barnsley final then, Karl?
I am.
Dan McGee, your score predictions for second legs?
For the second leg, I think we will beat Bournemouth 2-1.
And what about Barnsley? Barnsley-Swansea?
Honestly, I think for the second leg, I think it could be a draw. But I'm being honest. But I think Swansea having that first leg advantage, them beating Barnsley, like I was saying in my prediction, I think that's what will see them through. I think it'll be us versus Swansea in the final, and I think it'll be us to go up.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think that Swansea will beat Barnsley in the second leg, and I think that Brentford will get a win in the second leg as well after trailing at Bournemouth. And then I think it will be a Brentford-Swansea final as well, to be honest with you. I think you two have probably got maybe the strongest squad in there, and I think you've got a bit more experienced managers over, obviously, Bournemouth.
I'm only really saying this because I'm sure many fans can agree with me that nobody wants to see the relegated three from the Premier League Championship go back up, because then that makes it all about money with the parachute payments. You know?
And that's what I think it is. Obviously with us seeing Norwich and Watford get the top two, we don't want Bournemouth to then go and win the playoffs.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah. Who do you think will win the playoffs overall then, Karl?
Barnsley.
Dan?
Brentford.
And I think I'm going to back Brentford as well. I think this is probably their year after failing to do so next year. Last year, sorry.
We say this all the time, though. We do say this all the time. It's our year this year. I'd like to think it's 10th time lucky. But at the end of the day, like I've mentioned a couple of times here, we are a team that we lack in confidence when we're put on centre stage. I think when we're chasing, we're the best team in the league. But when it comes to moments that matter, especially in that playoff final, in the playoffs last season.
And do you think the playoff final last year makes you that bit more nervous going into this year?
No, because we're second for a reason. We're third for a reason. At the end of the day, we're not third because we're not third because we've got lucky wins. We're third because we've lost the same games as Norwich and we've won a lot of games as well. We're there for a reason. Every team is in that position for a reason, and that's why, in my opinion, it's going to be a Brentford-Swansea final.
Yeah. And I think it'll be Brentford-Swansea, to be completely honest with you. Very quickly, let's quickly talk about, obviously, the three teams that have come down from the Premier League, because I know it's the first time with about 3 games left that the bottom 3 has been relegated. And, that them 3 bottom sides are Sheffield United, West Brom and Fulham. Karl, your thoughts on that, mate?
Well, Sheffield United, it's been on the cards a long time, hasn't it? I think they'll be a good team again next season, but not as good as they would have been if they'd kept Wilder. So I think they might struggle to go up, but they might get a playoffs. But West Brom, I think, if they keep Allardyce, they'll probably be favourites to win the league, won't they? And Fulham, I think Parker's doing all right if he keeps in the job and makes a few decent acquisitions. I think Mitrovic in this league's top draw if they keep him in. So I think they should be up there and thereabouts. So, but as far as this season's concerned, they've all been pretty woeful. Apart from Fulham, I think they've been decent some days. Especially this last half of the season they have anyway. They've had some good performances, played some nice football, but just fell short really, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've all looked like the 3 that have gone down anyway for a long time.
Definitely. Dan, obviously one of them teams that have come down from the Premier League you'll be happy about, but what's your thoughts on the 3 that have come down from the Premier League?
I think Sheffield United are going to be another Bournemouth. I think they might just make the playoffs. I think Fulham will be in the playoffs, in my opinion. They will be in the playoffs. I don't see them going up first or second. West Brom, I see them winning the league, in my opinion, if they keep Big Sam. I mean, but there's still some great teams in the Championship at the end of the day.
Yeah, and for me, I think Sheffield United would have gone straight back up if they'd have kept hold of Chris Wilder, to be fair. But, they've done the same thing as what Bournemouth did. They lost Eddie Howe, and I think that's damaging, coming back down. It's a manager that would take them straight back up. So I think Sheffield United might struggle next season, and I think because Wilder's gone, I think they'll lose a lot of their key players now. Had Wilder stayed, I'm sure a few of them would have stayed as well. West Brom, they'll probably run away with the league if they keep hold of Allardyce. And Fulham, I think Scott Parker is a really good manager, and I think he's got Fulham playing some good football. But they've just fell short really. And I think if they keep hold of Scott Parker for next season, they could be a side that go back up as well. But I think for Sheffield United, one thing for them this year, they've massively missed the 12th man. 12th man behind them, to be totally honest with you. Is there anything you boys want to add to the podcast?
No, not from me, but I'm sure we'll catch up with everybody soon. I think we're going to do a review after the first leg of the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, we will be.
I was just going to say about your takeover today is meant to have been called off again. With Alonso.
Derby County's takeover, of course, got called off today, which I think, me personally as a Derby fan, I'm happy about. I think this Eric Alonso just seemed a dodgy character. I think...
Yeah, he had a nice house, so I've seen on TikTok.
Yeah, obviously he nicked someone's ass off TikTok and posted it on his Twitter. Dodgy character. And I think him taking over would have been the start of us doing a Bury or a Bolton, to be totally honest with you. I think for that, I'm glad he's not took over.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to jump out the frying pan into the fire, do you?
No, exactly. I think, you know,
Wait for the one.
yeah, wait for the right one.
Yeah.
Anything else to be added?
No, not from me, lads.
No.
Right, well, I just want to say to everyone, thanks for listening. If you're listening over on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're listening anywhere else, make sure you give us a like, a follow, whatever, subscribe, like if you're on YouTube. Share the podcast around, you know, we're always up for a laugh. Make sure you join our groups on Facebook. We've got Championship Absolute Football Banter Group, All Leagues Absolute Football Banter Group, and we have got the page that is Absolute Football Banter page, and we post all the podcasts on there, keep people up to date with guests and when we're doing them and stuff like that. And yeah, just thanks for listening, and we do apologise for all the laughing and immaturity. Yeah, cheers for coming on, boys.
Follow
cheers
Tyler
for coming on,
Tarft.
boys.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Tyler Tarft.
Yeah, subscribe to Tyler Tarft on YouTube. Subscribe to Dan McGee on YouTube. And yeah, thanks, boys.
Thank you.
You know.
Yeah, of course.